My name is Kelly Degenhart. I'm the Vice President for Client Success at Digonex, and we are dynamic pricing experts. We build customized, automated dynamic pricing solutions. And we work in two sectors, really, performing arts, live entertainment, and attractions, cultural attractions, museums, zoos, aquariums. And when I say that we are dynamic pricing experts, please just don't take my word for it. We employ a full-time in-house team of PhD economists. These are the ones who are developing the algorithms custom for every client that we work with, and they're backed by our team of software developers and data analysts. Each client is also paired with a member of my team, like my colleague Brad here today. So you actually have a real human being to talk to. If you want to talk about your pricing strategy, if you want to make adjustments along the way, you always have a real person to speak with at Digonex. Now, the way that we work is we deliver price recommendations to you through the algorithm, and they're presented to you in our platform. In that platform, you can approve our recommendations, you can reject outright our recommendations, or maybe you want to override them with a price that you think is right. You are in 100% control of your pricing at all times. And it is common for Digonex clients to see an immediate lift in revenue between 5 and 20%. So think about how much revenue your organization earns for single ticket sales every year. What's 5% of that number? What's 10% of that number? What could your organization do with that extra incremental revenue each season? Now, we work with over 120 clients worldwide. These are just some of the symphony and orchestra clients that we work with. Brad manages many of them. Hopefully you recognize some logos up here. So through our work in dynamic pricing, we've seen a few kind of common approaches to dynamic pricing out there. Which of your organizations, raise your hand if you're experimenting with prices. Are you changing them as time goes on? Do they stay the same over when you put them on sale? You experimenting? Little bit? Okay, good. So these common approaches to dynamic pricing, spoiler alert, they're all good, they're all right. So if you're doing one of these things, that's great. You should be experimenting. A lot of times we see organizations do what we call flexing, where you're kind of shifting the boundaries of those price zones in your house. Like maybe Section A is selling really, really well. So you might grab some seats that had gone on sale as Section B, but put them in Section A so you can have more inventory in that section and you can charge that higher price. That's great. A lot of organizations will use a rules-based approach. So when 60% of the house is sold, they might raise all tickets by $5. Or when 80% of the house is sold, they might raise them, there goes the sign. They might raise them by $10 in every price zone. And it's just based upon the sales velocity of how well your tickets are selling for that particular performance. And then we also see some organizations do what we call manual dynamic pricing. Maybe you're using some analytics tools or you're working with a consultant, but kind of over time, just based on your own observations and analysis, you might change some prices as you see fit. Now, like I said, all of these are great, all of these are good, but there are some limitations to using single variable or rules-based approaches. It can take a lot of time. If you are manually doing all of that analysis and then guessing at maybe what the price should be, how much you should increase, and then you have to manually input all of that information into your ticketing system, it can take a lot of time. You might be over-reliant on your historical information. You're guessing at that price. You're just not sure. What Digonex does and the way that we approach dynamic pricing is that we're going to determine the optimal price for that price zone, for that performance on that particular time. Now, any good dynamic pricing company is going to start with your historical sales information and your capacity restraints, like literally how many people can you have in your house, right? But that's really where our work begins. We take in a whole bunch of other data points and other factors into the data feed that feeds your algorithm. So if you were one of those people that raised your hands that you're experimenting with your prices, how have your patrons react to them in the past? We're going to pull in that information. We're going to pull in information from your website, specifically through Google Analytics. Where are people going to your website, but where are they maybe not converting? We want to understand your marketing strategy so that your pricing strategy and your marketing strategy are aligned. Really, what are your business goals and objectives? What are you trying to achieve through price? We're never going to take any personally identifiable information out of your historical data, no PII, but we do want to understand what your patron mix is. Like, where are they coming from? Are they mostly local? Are they traveling to get to your organization? Do you give your performances every season some ratings or rankings? We'll want to have that information to feed the algorithm. Other competing events in the area, other economic indicators. It's summer, so I bet a lot of your orchestras are doing your outside summer concert series. Don't you want to know what the weather is going to be like next week to maybe have that inform your pricing strategy as well? We're going to take these and many others. This is just a sampling of what some of the factors we take in are. But we're going to pull in these things to the algorithm really to determine three things. The demand for admission, obviously, and price elasticity and substitution effects, which are a little bit geeky econo speak, so let me translate. Price elasticity is really how much are your patrons willing to go up or down in price? What is their perceived value of the ticket that they're purchasing from your organization? And substitution effects, maybe your Friday night concerts always sell really well. Saturdays are a little slower. How can we use price as a lever to maybe move people into some of those slower performances? Or can we even move them within the same performance to a different zone within the house that you'd like to see fill in more fully? So all of these things are happening in the background. The algorithm is doing its thing, and you get the optimal price. So all of this work is going on our side by our team, and really what you'll get from us is an email every day, a couple times a week, however often you want us to make recommendations, and it'll say, your price recommendations are ready. You'll log into our portal, you'll accept, reject, or override. It takes minutes every day, and it's automated because it's also integrated with your ticketing system, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a second. So I mentioned that every solution that we develop for each of our clients is customized to your needs and your business. So really that kind of falls into four different buckets. What are your goals and objectives? Are we trying to maximize revenue for this particular performance or for the entire season? Or do we want to fill the house? Do we want to utilize the capacity more? These can change between performances, between the same performance but on different days. You tell us what your strategy and your objective is for each performance in your season. What's the scope of the application? What do you actually want us to price? I used to run sales and marketing at a performing arts center in Chicago where I live. I always had a couple rows of $10 tickets for every performance that we did. Community accessibility was very important to us. That was never going to change. Had I been working with Digonex at that time, I would have said, don't you touch my $10 tickets. So we don't have to price every single seat in your house. You tell us which productions, which performances, which price zones you want to have dynamic pricing applied. You can set constraints. I know sometimes dynamic pricing doesn't always get the best rap in the media. This is not dynamic pricing gone off the rails. You tell us, do not ever make a recommendation above this certain price. Similarly, don't ever make a recommendation below this price. I can't sell tickets that cheap. You set those minimum and maximum price constraints that we follow. And then any other rules that you might have as well. Do your tickets always end in 95 cents or 50 cents or whole dollars? Whatever your increment rounding is, we can respect that. Are there certain derivative tickets where, we're going to make the recommendations on the regular or adult ticket? Is there a senior ticket that's always 25% off, or a child ticket that's always 50% off? Whatever those derivative prices are, we can bake that into the solution as well. So we do have integrations with most of the major ticketing platforms, so Tessitura, Spectrix, Audience View. We have probably about 30 different ticketing integrations. So the way that that works, we will take the sales information, the inventory information out of your ticketing platform every day so that we can capture the last 24 hours or 48 hours, however often we're making recommendations, capture what's happened since the last time we've made a recommendation. That feeds the algorithm along with all of those other factors, and it's going to determine the optimal prices. And like I said, you get notification from us that your new prices are available. You'll go into the platform, approve, reject, override, and then once you've made your decisions and hit publish in our platform, straight into your ticketing system. Those prices will publish at the time that you choose. Most of our clients choose a published time of like 2 in the morning when like probably no one is going to be buying tickets, so that we never have a situation where the price can change out from under someone in the middle of a transaction. That won't happen. And then rinse and repeat. This happens every day, every couple days, again, however often you want us making price recommendations. So if you're thinking about starting a dynamic pricing strategy for your organization, what are some of the things you should be thinking about right now and in the years to come as you develop your strategy? So in year one, what we're doing with our clients is we're doing a lot of deliberate testing and learning. We're going to want to understand what the yield potential is for your really strong selling performances. We want to understand the price elasticity behavior of your clients. What is that price range that they're willing to pay? What is that perceived value? Are there opportunities within your season that we can leverage price to drive attendance? Like I said, that maybe Saturday evening performance, it doesn't sell quite as well as some of the other ones. And then, of course, we're going to monitor patron reaction to see, what are they reacting to? What are they purchasing? What are they not purchasing? And then in year two, as your strategy has gotten more sophisticated, you've done a lot of that testing, you've learned a lot of things. Next season, when you go on sale, are you going on sale with the right start prices? If you've learned that your patrons are willing to pay more for your performances from the get-go, why not set your on-sale prices at that price? Understanding more how we can leverage the dynamic pricing strategy with your promotional strategy. A lot of our clients will incorporate, buy early and save, or become a subscriber and always get the lowest price because our prices are going to increase as the season continues. Product design, if we've seen that certain types of performances sell very strongly and you're able to capture more revenue on those performances, maybe we should start programming more of those in the next season. And then how does dynamic pricing, what we're doing with single tickets, how does that affect your subscription or membership sales? Maybe we need to do some tweaking to those programs as well. And then in year three, when we're really cooking and we're really starting to see that 5%, 10%, 20% increase in revenue, how can we boost our ROI on those investments that we've made? Maybe we can license those big films and do more of the live orchestra score performances. Maybe you can use that revenue to continue your digital transformation for your organization. Are there education programs that can be funded? Are there outreach programs that can be funded? How can you use now this revenue that you've earned through a dynamic pricing strategy to continue and sustain your business well into the future? And then not just year three, I really need to update this slide, but every year we're going to review those choices. Every year you should be reviewing what are our objectives, what really are we trying to achieve. Am I dynamically pricing the right things, or do we need to change the scope of the application of our pricing strategy? Maybe we're seeing that our patrons are willing to pay more for the great programming that we put on. Maybe we can increase the maximum price constraint this year. And if there's any, new ticket types that you've added or different rules that you want to apply, always review that every year to make sure that your pricing strategy is current to meet your goals and objectives of your organization. I think I am coming up just on time, but my colleague Brad and I will be out in the center atrium here at our table. If you have any questions, if you want to learn more, please do come and find us. Thank you very much.